There we are. Doc here from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Just a little time delay here. Sorry about that. Went down and picked some tomatoes out of the field. Checked the stand. The basics. Just doing a little farming with money. We migrant labor. We pick money. It's a combination of all of it. Anyhow, I got what do I have up there this morning on the beta? You can see there is. Let's make it gigundous so you can see it really clear. Look at that. That's the 30-year bond again. Yesterday I went on a tirade about the bond vigilantes, about how they're just flat out smarter than the Federal Reserve. I mean, we just need to bring in a couple of Swiss bankers, let them hang out at the Federal Reserve, and send everybody else on vacation for 29 out of the 30 days, or the 25 out of the last 30 days. Just pay them to stay away. Honestly, because the market is telling us very clearly they don't like the idea of the 0.5% cut, and they're not going to accept it. That's pretty much what it comes down to. And you see here all that weakness, day in and day out, day in and day out, day in and day out. So your classic R.N. Elliott, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're in the 5, and the thralls of the 5 could be as low as down to here, or anywhere's in there. So that's the issue. So then we go running over to the dollar. Let's see how the dollar looks here this morning. And there is the dollar index right. Let's see, did I push further enough? I did. Should be right there. We'll find the dollar index here in a few seconds. We just scroll up a little bit more right there. There's the dollar index. And you see the dollar index keeps on climbing. I think we're threatening the 104 area now. Is that what we're threatening, the 104? Let's check that out. Look at that. 104.48. No, that can't be right. Yeah, that could be right. With a high of 104.56. I really didn't think we were going to see anything beyond the 104s, like 104.25, something like that. Figured that they'd play with maybe that right there, but they've jacked it. They have lifted it up. They're frustrated with they're frustrated with the Federal Reserve's inability to understand. From as simple as understanding inflation, doing this crazy Keynesian stuff for like the last 100 years. It's like it's just socialism. That's all it is. It's a bad economics. It increases inflation. It doesn't stop it. It stalls growth. It doesn't grow growth. Supply side economics since 1980 is where it's at. It's the most accurate, most potential, most powerful way of doing economics. And that could be the title of today, too, really. Supply side versus socialism. Because everything else is socialism. And I don't see it any other way at this point. The world is trying to get used to the idea that socialism just doesn't work. It's a real hard thing. Unfortunately, they want to control us. They want to. Let's see, how do you spell Keynesian? Keynesian economics. I want to make sure I spell it right when I put it in for the title. Keynesian economics. There it is right there. Let's see, what does it say about Keynesian? It says, named after the British economist John Maynard, and are the various microeconomic theories models of how aggregate demand, total spending, but we just, it just isn't right. Productive capacity, we just know it's not right. And supply side, our, Laffer curve is the right way now. We can see that very clearly. And I guess Keynesian was developed, I want to see when it was developed. I think it was in the 20s or 1920s or 1945 to 1973, I guess it is. During that socialist thing. And it's from a book of his in 1936. Keynesian economics developing during the after the Great Depression, from the ideas presented in Keynesian in 1936. So, I mean, it's a dead idea. It really is. It's not. And here's a perfect example. Here I show you every day. We knew that the half a percent was going to scare the market. It has. It has made things worse, not better. So that's the problem. And you can't get people to talk about it. Only Doc will talk about it because Scotty Litson have a front row seat to be able to discuss these things. Whereas it seems to be they hide this, and there are very few places that will talk about it. That's what the problem is. So all right, so we're going to come up with the title right now because I've been pushing on this for days and weeks now. It's so obvious, and you can see the dollar index there, and then when we go and we throw the the bonds up there, which is the real deal. It's like, hey, wait a minute, didn't they lower interest rates, right? That's pretty much what it comes down to. People must be going like, wait a minute, I heard them, they lowered interest rates. Why is it not working? It's because it's manipulated by a bunch of criminal politicians, basically. And then they keep on trying to tell you something that's false, and it doesn't work. You can see it's coming down towards the bottom there as we speak right now. And so, I have to sing. I have to be here singing that song, basically telling you the truth. That is the truth. Let's see. So we should call this today Keynesian. Let's see. Keynesian. Let's see. N-E. Let's get this thing right. N-E-S. Keynesian fails. And supply side wins. That's it. Keynesian failed. Supply side wins. I like that. That's where it's at. And I can't do this. I can't make these things up. It's right in front of our face there. We got bonds trading at the lows of the last, 4 months since July, right? We're in October. So, it's, we're flirting around with lows from mid-late July. That's what's come down to. And they did what they said they were going to do, lower rates. They've been saying it for, I don't know, since November of last year. We're almost going on 12 months. They sang that song over and over and over and over and over. And all I can say is it doesn't work. And we're just going to look around the markets now because I've already beat you up on I've been saying this now for weeks here. Keynesian is a disaster. All right. So from there we go over to look at the euro this morning. Let's put the euro up there. Right there. Now let's shift screens to right there. There it is. Look at that. They're not buying. They're buying dollars. I know. And we don't even need to go into the reason. I've already explained it over and over again. So all we can say is that we're in a weekly sell, daily sell. And like usual, the math reads it, picks it up, and tells us what it's going to do in the future. Yeah, right there you can see the same thing. The consciousness, our mathematical algorithm, is a consciousness. It's just no different than, Schrodinger's double slit consciousness, or what is it? The newest one I've been seeing is there's another one out there now that they're talking about, which is very interesting. It's let me see if we can find it. Let's find that new consciousness that even blows my mind a little bit more than usual. Let's see, I can get rid of that. Go there. And I'm going to explain to you this second one, which is really far out. Okay. So, Donald Trump doesn't have stamina. Boy, the campaign is 13 days away from this thing, and we can't wait. We may know by lunchtime, basically, in some states who won already. We may know that by 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon that they'll be naming the winner. It's going to really freak out the liberals. The socialists are going to go totally bonkers over it all. I think Trump's got a landslide hiding right out there, right in front of our faces. All right, now, because he's out there harvesting votes just like Democrats do now. They taught him. They had to go do it openly in his face, so, oh well. All right, so right there, the other idea besides Schrodinger and that consciousness is quantum contextuality. One way to understand understanding the contextuality is through the sign of an electron, and in classic physics, you'd expect electron to have a definite spin in a certain direction before it's measured. But in quantum contextuality, tells us that the result of measuring a spin can vary depending on what other properties are around it. And so, in other words, there's an influence that we don't see. And that's what it comes down to. So contextuality and Schrodinger's, this is by Bell and Kochun and Spector. Theorem further deepens this by providing that a hidden variable theory, a theory where the outcomes of quantum measurements are predetermined. That's what our math is. That's what I created 50 years ago, to be able to deal with the accelerator situation. And so this math is measuring these objects, euros, bonds, expanding galaxies, anything, measures it on a surface that I can't see. But it can see it because it's on that surface and we measure it. And that's how this works. It's really weird. I find it weird. It has me excited every day, pretty much most of my life now. I'm 70 years old, so I find it totally fascinating. And I created it when I was in my young 20s. So, anyhow, let's see. That is the British pound. You can see British pound not sinking as much, and that's why when we look at the Euro GBP pairs trade, you can see here it's on the south side of things. It's been in that weekly sell now, all the way back in late August, and it's outperforming the Euro, the GBP. And you can see here, it's been in a daily sell since right there, went into the daily sell back on the 10th, and has been sliding down ever since, finding ways to go lower. And it's come down from the 84.50 area, and now we're trading at 83.15 as we speak. So, and you can see they even pierced the 83 area right there 4 days ago. Went to an 82.95. Fascinating stuff. I find it fascinating. All right, and then from there, we zipped it. Oh, did Robin get in? Yeah, Robin got in. And so from there, we shoot over to the Swiss. And look at that. Every time it flirts with the going into a sell, they go higher. The pressure of the interest rate factor just will not go away. Just keeps on screaming, saying, hey, guess what, traders? The pressure is on the upside. From there, the yen. Look at the yen. Wow. I really thought it would stall out in the 150, 152 area, but here we are now at 153. And that's because the world market saw that 0.5% increase, or decrease by the Fed, and now it's been all gobbled up. We should show you the bonds. Before we go over to, when we go into the energy sector, we'll show you the bonds, where they're yielding right now. But it's been ugly. Ugly as I chew on some nuts too at the same time. All right, so from there, we'll jump over to the great experiment, and it's trying. It tried to get into the buy and failed. I mean, it's just trying and trying, and it's doing a fine job. This is good. This is good for Turkey. We want this product to be down, not up. This makes it cheaper, less inflation, the whole bit. I mean, think of it. 36.9 euros now. Or, I'm sorry, Turkish lira to 1 euro. It's a lot better than having to pay 39 or 38 or 40, you know? So this is a sign that inflation is just nibbling down a little bit, which is really good. You see we've been in the daily sell since there, been in the weekly sell since the 138.5 area, and here we are heading for the 136.5 area. So two big handles, 200 points. It's any country will be happy to take that, I'm sure. That's a good winner for the Turkish people. Then from there we zip over to, there it is right there. This is the South African Rand. Keeps on having that upwardly slope. And I guess there's a lot of confusion on what is going on. Because when this has an upwardly slope, usually gold is down. And we saw gold yesterday at all-time highs. And today, what is gold doing today? And there is the gold. And gold is still right near the all-time highs, maybe off 10 or 15 bucks, nothing major. Just kind of drifting around, maybe 7 bucks, 8 bucks, something like that. And you can see that. You can see here silver. Silver doing that same thing right there. A little bit more pressure on it. It got up to the $35 area yesterday. Closed at $35.04. Today it's trading at $34.30, down 70 cents. And at the same time, it played with the high of $35.07. Still in a daily buy, long weekly buy. So, we would because of the South African Rand, let's just go back to that real quick. Just because the South African Rand has had that kind of like upwardly slope, we would have assumed the metals would not. But even with interest rates rising, you would doubles assume, and not. So there's a flight to safety. There's a flight to fundamentals, higher interest rates. The safety is the dollar is safe. The second thing is it's higher interest rates. It's a better return. Remember, traders, the idea is to make money, not lose it. All right, and then from there, we shoot over to copper, which is flirting with the daily sell last I saw. Yeah, look at that. I got a little red dotted line going on. It's below the zero line. And the weekly's even flirting with that. So that sugar high of China is really, really hurting. Everybody is hurting from it. And then from there we go to the most dangerous short in the world. And that is platinum. And it's holding up well on the daily buys and looking good on the weekly buys. And it's over $1,000, which is kind of neat. It's taking an enormous haircut from this quantitative easing central bank universe, I guess you could call it. That's a cute long name for it, but what it is that the quantitative easing, since Mr. Obama's presidency starting, right just as he was getting elected, it started. The disaster definitely chewed everything up. And ever since Mr. Obama's 8 years, we've been stuck in the quantitative easing. And that means that central banks and politicians can spend and spend and spend. And they actually believe, and they state it, that they don't have to pay it back. They think that they can grow out of it through inflation, not through growth and good policies, but inflation, inflate out of it. And who pays for that? Ask the people of Turkey what that's like to see your currency go from 1 to 40. See what that feels like. Feel like you're doing a good thing there, huh? I doubt it. It's more like a kick in the teeth. All right, so there it is. That's the platinum. From the platinum, we'll slide over to the energy sector. So now we're going to do this too. At the same time, we're going to look at energies. And we're going to look at, I want to throw the bonds up there too. Where's that? Right there. So bonds are going to be up on there also. So go like that. And there's the U.S. bonds. You can see the 1 month is trading at 4.7. Some 0.5% cut, huh? And you can see, they're driving towards the 5s again. It's like, wow. It's scaring everything in the marketplace. And you can see the 10-year. You can see the 30-year is at 4.5%, which is not too bad. But, it was a lot more fun, I guess, when it was down 0.5 percentage point. So, let's go over to energy. Energy. And here is crude oil. Right there, December crude oil coming up on the screen. And you can see they're putting some pressure into it today. It's down. Let's just go like that. It's still green, but it's down about $1.50. You see that? They're pressuring it. Yesterday it settled at 71.74. Right now, live, it's trading at 70. And just see that again. Yeah, 74. 71, 70, 71.74 yesterday close. Today it's trading at 70.88. So it's about a 90-cent drop, I guess you could say. 71.74 to 70.88. And it was as low as 70.12 at one point. So the pressure is on lower oil prices, which is a good thing. Let's check out Brent C. There it is. And so you can see here, there's Brent. Brent is generating the red dot. But both histograms, both in West Texas and in Brent, are still on the plus side. So in this case here, Brent, it got into the plus, but you got a red dot, so you can't even be long. And at the same time, it's flirting with a weekly sell, just like West Texas Intermediate. Both are flirting with the weekly. Let's try that one more time. Both are flirting with the weekly sells. Right there. Here it is again on the West Texas Intermediate. You can see that there and right there. See it right down in here. There's lots of pressure down on the bottom one. See if we can get that to something like that. Can we do that? Right there. See it? Right there. There we are. Yeah, down at the bottom one. We can make it larger just to give you a better insight right there. All right. So from there we go over to the largest, as I think, in my little mind, and that is the fuel that heats up the engines on the planes in the sky, heats up the big trucks delivering all the food and inventory. You see, it's in a 3-day buy, holding on there, 2 solid days, and you can see right there, doing it again today, and not really going anywhere, and it's been in a weekly sell, so you can't take this long. And I guess the bigger question is that are they going to sell the energy market down somewhere over the next, I don't know how to put it, the next couple of weeks maybe? Something like that. Especially with crude oil going into the weekly sell, Brent heading into the weekly sell, and we're going into the middle of, the start of we're halfway through the fall now. So that really catches our eye. Because everybody knows it gets cold in the northern hemisphere. So that is that. Now from there, we zip over to Nat Gas. Here comes Nat Gas. I think they were flirting. Yeah, see, the histogram is plus. It's got a green dot, but we can't take it because why, traders? The weekly. Look at the weekly. Out of all that's on there, the weekly is in a second week of a sell. So even Nat Gas is having its issues when it comes to, and it's at really low prices to begin with. We're looking at natural gas now trading in the $2.25 to $2.30 area, basically. Not bad coming down from $3. It's a big drop, almost a 30-some-odd% drop. I think it's 27% to be exact. And then from there, we take a look at the energy company over in Spain, who's been in a weekly sell for now 6 weeks, I believe it is. So, it's anticipating that, watching that move come down from $3 to basically $2.25. And a little pop there today. How about that, huh? And look at that. The weekly is trying to lift up a little bit. So maybe, a little bottom fishing going on there. It is, like I said, we're coming through the middle of the fall. And the next thing is it's winter. And when you have winter, you get even colder weather. All right, so that's the energies. Now from there, let's shoot over and see what the world has been doing today. Let's see what Tokyo did with the way the Nikkei, or let's see how the Nikkei moved relative to the yen. The yen jumped. It's lost against the dollar. You can see the stock market is backing off right there. So there's the Nikkei, and it's in a weekly sell for a second week, I think it is. Second week? Yep, second week right there. See, 2 weeks in a sell. So the pressure is on there. Let's head over to, let's check out, we'll go to South Korea, and unless someone wants to see something, but we'll put South Korea up there. There it is right there. And there's South Korea. Now they were up for the day. They're trying to push up, and you can see the weekly is trying to get into a weekly buy after 3 weeks in a sell. From there, we go over to Taiwan, chip capital of the world. And right there, you can see a couple days in a sell, but in a weekly buy, so you can't take it too serious. It means the longer-term trend is still on the upside, even with all those Chinese Beijing boats floating around the island. They don't care. They're like the honey badger. From there, we'll go take a look at Shanghai, and we'll go take a look at Hong Kong. See what they're doing there today from that sugar high. Sugar, sugar. You see that was up a little bit today. You can see 4 days in a buy, but in the weekly sell still for second week. So just stand it aside and let it play itself out. And then from there, let's see what Hong Kong did. I think Hong Kong is right near DAX. Let's see if I can find it. No, actually, I think I redid it. So it might say Hong Kong on it. Overhead name. There it is, Hang Seng. There we are. Here comes the Hang Seng, Hong Kong. It's doing the same thing, showing some strength. They're doing some buying. It's in the plus. Unfortunately for it, too, is in a weekly sell for a second week. So it's kind of like just stand it aside. Let them play their game, whatever game that is they're playing, you know. The sugar high. You know, it's... If copper's being knocked down, I guess maybe they're not going to tear down another $500 billion city just to rebuild it again. Maybe they're going to start learning some supply side and move away from Keynesian concepts. All right, and then from there, let's see, what do we got? Let's check out, what do we got? Let's go to the Singapore Straits Times, STI. STI, right there. Singapore. Looking good, Billy Ray. Feeling good, Lewis. Flirting with a weekly sell. Interesting. Sell, buy, sell. After a nice long run from here, you know, for what's it, 7 weeks in a weekly buy, and you can see what it did with those 7 weeks of the weekly buy. We'll throw it up on the screen. There it is right there. And last 3 weeks they've been in and out, you know, but most of this move was all this move was in the weekly buy. Now we're just in and out, trying to decide the next place to be. And I would say that the Singapore Straits Times is a good place to be, because when the markets in the world go up, it goes up. So it definitely is one of those where they say all boats, tides raise all boats unless they're sunk. All right, then you have to lower the tide. So from there, we'll go over to Jakarta. Down in here somewhere. There it is right there, the Jakarta Exchange. And you see the strength in that. And we're a second week in a weekly buy, and it's climbing. They're the largest oil producer, I believe, in the Pacific at this point. And then from there, we jump over to the Nifty 50, who's been selling it down a little bit. I know they're in I think they're in Moscow today for the BRICS. So the currency itself seems to be feeling some pain from that BRIC thing. You know, they're like the third largest BRIC in the world. So, I mean, it's a real confusion because of the way BRICS are. You know, I mean, they're not the financially strongest of the bunch, you know. And then you have the angry colony, China, basically leading it now. It's worked its way past South Africa and Mexico, and so the Chinese yuan is the number one brick in the world now, and now you have Nissan, not Nifty 50 is probably number 3. You have South African Rand number 2, and Russia, the currency will not be named, obviously in there somewhere if they could get their game together. But they're into death. It seems like all these countries want to be not India, and not South. Well, South Africa, they do have a death warrant on all the farmers. They seem to be killing farmers all the time. So the only one, India seems to be the safest of the 4. All right, and then from there we'll go over to, let's see what Saudi Arabia is doing this morning with Aramco. Right there. And there's Aramco. We'll put it up on the screen. Marching along with the energy sector. Not taking out that low from August, of course, all those missiles and so forth. And remember, most of this was the unwind more than it was the missiles. This is the unwind of the pairs trade, the $20 trillion pairs trade that, 20 trillion, not billion, not million, trillion in Japan, that they finally unwound and took off, and it seemed to help out the currency for a long while, for like 3 months. But things are losing control again there, it seems like. So Aramco is moving down towards the low end. It's at 26.95 as we speak. That's the low of the day also. And then from there, we'll take a look at the metals company in Saudi Arabia. Get a chance to really look at some of these. I like the idea of being able to see our math functioning with other world products. There it is. And this is the metals company. And it's kind of just cruising along, second week in a sell. Not really going anywhere particular. Coming off those August lows, where it was around the 1480 area. We've seen it trade as high up to as almost 1980. So that was a $5 move on the upside while we were in the weekly buy. See, we went into that weekly buy. Let's see, where's the weekly buy? Right there, is it? There it is. July 23rd. And then July 30th. I'm sorry, August 30th, that is. And there's September. So it was August 23rd, the week of August 23rd, which is, there's August 5th. It went into the buy right around in here. Right there, this area. So it was at the 1580 area. And in that weekly buy for 4 weeks, ran up to here, up to 19. So it was a $4 move. Not bad. And the daily went into the buy right in here, which was even nicer, From there, we'll shoot over to, where do we go? Over here. Over here. Over there. The Yanks are coming. The Yanks are coming. Oop. All right. Let's see. From Saudi Arabia, we'll go over to Tel Aviv. Let's see what's going on in Tel Aviv, the land of rockets and missiles. And computer programming and medical discoveries. And it's, what do they call that? The something like the discovery country or something like that. It has all kinds of wonderful successes. Last we saw, the stock market there is cruising along at pretty high highs for a country that's in that dilemma. I guess they don't care. And it's been in a weekly buy for 5 weeks now. So obviously the missiles and so forth are not having much of an effect on the country itself economically, besides having to pay for them, and which is kind of a drag. It's kind of expensive. So you can see here, Tel Aviv having a little weakness today. Nothing major. It's in a buy still and still in a weekly buy. So someone's got to take a profit somewhere along the line. Okay, and then from there we shoot over to. Let's move that over out of the way, and we'll go over to. Where do we go over to? We go over to, like that, yes. Let's go see what they're doing in Europa. Let's take a look at the DAX. There it is right there. There's DAX. And then at the same time, You see DAX is a little weak. We're in weekly buys though, so I mean it looks like they want to try to find a way to turn these things up. We get into daily buys, we might see a nice little pop on the upside. Right now we're not seeing it. And Tesla comes out tonight with its earnings, and everybody is kind of like standing to the side waiting to see what they do with that. You know, that's the next situation they stare at. From there, we'll go take a look at, let's see, where's it at? Let's take a look at the CAC 40 right there. See how France is doing today. Looking strong in a buy, but it's been in a weekly sell for 2 weeks, so you gotta just wait for the weekly to turn up or this go red again. See, it was a long buy in it for a while. Let's check out FTSE right underneath it. Or right above it is. There it is right there. There's FTSE. FTSE in the same situation. Playing with the weekly sell now, but it's been in the buy for 4 solid weeks, and it's been kind of climbing in a sloppy way. Nothing major. You know, I guess it's up near its all-time highs, isn't it? What is that price tag? Yeah, I think the all-time highs is the 8,000 something. So that's the FTSE. Let's see how Brussels is doing. We have Brussels too. We can look at the Brussels index. We got, I think there's a 50 out there too, that nifty 50. Let's see, where's Brussels? There it is right there. There's the Brussels index. And that doesn't seem to care. It's doing all right. You know, the European Union seems to be moving along slow and steady with no major growth, just basic growth. Look at the long weekly buys all the way back into, let's just put this up on, let's refresh it and we'll put it up on the screen. Brussels has been in a weekly buy for a while. The heart of the capital of Europe. And it's just, let's see, it's just flirting with the weekly sell after 3, 6, 9, 10, 11 weeks in a weekly buy. Yeah, 11 weeks. All the way back into the, was it the end of, the beginning of August it started. Somewhere in the first week or 2 of August. So, right there. You can see, that's what happened. There's the other screen. You see, there's the beginning of August. It went into the weekly buy, and that's what we got out of it. Definitely good action, eh? All right, so from there, where do we go from there? Let's see. We'll give you a couple of flavors of, what else is there? Is there any more Europeans? I guess, I thought we had, oh, you know what? We have Italy. Where's it at? We have the Italian index now on here. Let's show you that. Let's see, where's it at? There it is right there. And that's the Italian index. Did the same thing, bottomed out in August. And in this case here, it was in a weekly sell. Where'd it go into the weekly buy at? The second week of August, going into the third week of August. And here it went into the weekly buy. That lasted for 3 weeks for that action. Then we 2 weeks in a sell, and then we're back in the buy again. Where's that? That is right there on the 9th, 20. It was at the into the middle of September here. Went into the buy again here, and we've been in the buy ever since. Up and down, up and down. You see the daily's been in a daily buy all the way up until 2 days ago. You know, we were what's that? 11 days in a daily buy. So that's the Italian index. That's the FTSE Italian index. And then let's see, where do we go from there? I guess we go over to, let's see what we can show you there. Let's show you the S&P 500, and we'll take a look at the Dow too if we can find that. Oh, there's Disney. I want to see what Disney's doing this morning. That could be fun. Dizzy. Now, Dizzy is still trying to lift itself up. It's hanging out in the 96 area. They have some issues going on, and it's been a long, what's that, 3, it was in a weekly sell for a week, and then back, this is the second week, and I guess they knew that they were going to switch chair people. That's what they did. Eisner's out of there again, and somebody else is in there, and didn't really move the stock any. It's kind of odd the way it does that. The situation where they can't even get it to move. But in this case here, it's like the rest of the U.S. stock market is going sideways. I know earnings was out. They're looking at all the earnings. Earnings seem to be okay. We've seen communications company AT&T, and I think Boeing's earnings came out, and it was like better than they were expecting, but they're not really lifting the stock market anything better than. Matter of fact, they're doing the opposite. They're selling it. I'd say they're selling it down basically. They're not pushing it up. For the last 3 days, it just keeps on finding new ways to go lower, and it's in a weekly buy, and it's probably starting to flirt with a weekly sell. Let's just take a quick look at let's see if the S&P 500. How's that look? Let's see what that's doing. Let's see. We'll head right over to that right now. I'm looking. There we are. Let's take a look and see. What we could do is we could do this too. We could look at, I think there it is. There's the S&P 500. You see it's trying to climb into a buy. It did it yesterday. It's still in the buy for a couple of days, and it's still in a weekly buy. So you can see there, they're not really pushing it down as much as you would think they're pushing it down, but they are pushing it down. That's what it really comes down to. It is feeling the pain. It's feeling the pressure. And they're just going to keep on doing that until something else changes, I guess. From there, whatever it is that something else changes. To me, a catalyst could be something like Tesla. But at this point, I think the markets are just waiting. They're trapped. They're just waiting. Maybe it'll be a little bottom fishing soon, but right now we're not really seeing it. The Q's right underneath it, that's the Tech 100 right there. You see the Tech 100 doing the same thing. It's kind of just, it's holding strong. It's in a weekly buy, but they're not really, weekly and daily buys, but the markets are just sideways. That's really what it comes down to, is they're sideways. They're just isn't a lot of conviction to be bottom fishing. I think I heard some money managers over the last couple of days go, let's wait till Tesla's earnings come out, and then maybe we'll step up and buy some, because it's off. They said the highs are like $270, and right now it's trading at $217 or something like that, $216. So it's like, is it wait till the news comes out. If they slam it, you get a chance to get it cheaper. And if not, then the momentum traders will kick in. It'll be a combination of, combined momentum or that. Now, a friend of mine that has a Tesla, both him and his wife have Teslas, and he said they turned on the self-driving yesterday. So he was just happened to be playing golf down and along Cape May Ocean City area, Stone Harbor area, and then they got in the car and they said, "Oh, we've turned on your self-driving, so you don't have to drive." So he was, just hit the button and the car drove, and so he was traveling about 100 kilometers in it to a board meeting that we met up at last night. So, it's kind of interesting. Right before the earnings, they turned on the self-driving, so you don't have to pay for it. So that's kind of interesting. All right, traders, what else we got going on here? Let's see if we can find the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Find that, and then we'll get out of here. How's that sound? And we've already come up with a title. The whole idea of Keynesian. This is all because the bond market is falling up. They've taken away the 0.5 point decrease. They've put the increase in there. Here comes the Dow Jones Industrial Average right there. And you can see it's in a sell for a couple of days, but still in the weekly buy down in here. See that? Right down there. The weekly's in a buy, the daily's in a sell. It's all in that same situation. So, traders, we're out of here. This is Doc from North America. We will catch you all tomorrow at the same time, same channel. So, happy trails to you. until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. Later, later, traders, have a safe and smart weekend. Ta-ta.